naomba Mwenyezi Mungu aibariki Kenya yangu. Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana Roho Mtakatifu, amina. Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana Roho Mtakatifu, amina. Ewe Kenya nchi yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, ewe Kenya mama yangu, sitakuacha milele. Akili zangu nguvu zangu nimeziweka mbele yako. Bibi yangu na watoto nimewaweka mbele yako. Tabu zangu shida zangu.
What could be one of the questions I can ask, as you say, already had that. It's the question of mediatization when it comes to the issue pertaining to tribalism. Because what I found out when I went to vote in 2007, it is the media decisions that were actually being followed. You know, people, tribes were listening to their own radio stations, and these radio stations had to bring this kind of animosity between other tribes. And the outcome of those elections had something to do with the media decision. In your view, or in the Commission's view, what are you going to deal with this? Because it's a real menace. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next one. The lady there.
Thank you very much. My name is Mkawasi Hall. I have a comment concerning the challenges that you have given us. It's brief. I am speaking on behalf of the Kenyan community abroad. I was sent by its president, who is Dr. Ogendi Menge, who resides in Australia, and he sent me. I am a board of trustees in the organization to present to you that KCA is very willing and ready to help the registration of Kenyans abroad. I believe that is going to help ease a lot of your work. On the strength of precedents and the work that they have done before, I believe this is possible, and I know that they're capable of doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. The young lady there.
Thank you very much. I have a very simple question. Where can we get a copy of the new constitution that also outlines, the new electoral process?
Good. Yes.
Mine is a question. I wanted to pick up from what you said on the secret ballots, because if you register, you send your photograph, your fingerprints during the actual voting. People are going to know how you voted, and we are supposed to be voting by secret ballot. People don't have to know how we vote. So in a way, people might feel that that's one way of knowing how the diaspora people whom they voted for. So we are not covered. And in line with that, I also wanted to know whether you really enjoy the security of tenure, because without that security of tenure, you will not be able to give Kenyans a free, fair, and peaceful elections, as we saw in 2007. We thought perhaps we didn't really enjoy fully the security of tenure. Yeah, so...
Those are two questions.
Thank you.
Very good. We can have the last one, and then we have a response. Yes.
Thank you, Juguna Kapugi.
A question or a comment?
It's a question. Have you considered, given the size of this country here, going back and forth, we may vote this way or that way, the large size of this country really challenges you on how we can all vote in one day. Kenya votes one day and that is it. Have you considered, for example, what you'd have to do if you spread this over several days?
So we have several questions. One is on tribalism. Ambassador, you want to deal with that issue of tribalism? And then where to get the new constitution?
The new constitution is available online.
Have you considered spreading over several immaculate? You do that? Have you considered several days and then? Yes. So the must talk about tribalism.
Those of you who have been following up the progress of IEC will realize that we did two things. One was to form what we borrowed from South Africa and Ghana, that is Party Liaison Committee. As you're aware, NDI is here with a number of political parties. And secondly, also, if you remember 2007, the media was ahead of the Electoral Commission then. But those of you who have followed the by-elections and the referendum, we are actually ahead of the media. The media now taps into our servers. And one of the things that we've developed is electronic transmission of results, in which we're able to instantly, through the use of a cheap mobile phone, once the results have been agreed at the polling station, to transmit to the Constituent Election Tallying Center, the National Tallying Center, and also into the internet. So you can be able to follow the results instantly throughout the country. If those of you who are following also the referendum, you realize we worked very closely with the media. The number of initiatives that we've taken with the media, one is to meet with the media owners, meet with the editors, agree on a code of conduct, and also if you look at the Constitution, which is available online, you also have to read the Elections Act, you also have to read the Political Parties Act, and also the regulations, which are also available. If you go to the website of the Kenya Law Reports or that one of Nyachai, even Nation and Standard, you can be able to download the Constitution. There are quite a number of places. If you just Google, you'll get them, including the Political Parties Act and also the Elections Act, and also the Management Act that creates ourselves. We've also worked very closely with other Agenda 4 commissions, including that one of Kivunja on cohesion. And basically through political parties, through working with the Agenda 4 commissions, issues of hate speech, issues of monitoring what is said on the radio station. Our biggest challenge really during the 2007 was the FM stations. And therefore we are going to work very closely with the media. We have a political parties and media liaison committee that will constantly engage the media. A campaign, if you remember, for the referendum, for both registration and voter education was done jointly between the commission and the media. And in that way, we were also able to agree on a code of conduct. In a number of countries, you have a serious code of conduct, but in Kenya, the media said they can regulate themselves. We also give them training in terms of what is expected in order to understand the electoral systems. And also we give party agents that training. And through Party Liaison Committee, we've been able to remove the suspicion that exists between the Electoral Commission and the political parties. And that has worked very well. I was in Liberia, and the biggest challenge in Liberia really is that the media doesn't trust the commission. The public doesn't trust the commission. And I think for us, we've been very lucky because we've involved people at every stage. We've been able to deal with those issues. And of course, the new political parties have created very stringent measures. So you will find that parties will begin to merge and the numbers of parties will be reduced. And of course also remember the challenges of the Constitution, that you need to get support beyond just your locality if you're standing for president. Mm-hmm. It has to be 50% plus 1, 25% out of the 50% of the counties. You know, so also what the chairman talked about, the curriculum on voter education, which is also available on our website, is to try and standardize.
Can you give the lady there?
Can you give her and develop a very serious curriculum? So we hope we will work together. And also for the diaspora, we hope once we begin that voter education and the representative of the media here, we will also work together and form. I think dialogue is what is important. Thank you.
I think my quick response, the clarification about biometrics. What we are talking about is not electronic voting, it's electronic voter registration. And the system that we have used in the past is actually biometric. We actually capture your biometric data. That is your fingerprints, that is the thumb, and also the facial. And basically, once we capture the data, this is part of the identification process as you come to vote. And during the voting, we have done this in 18 constituencies. We have what we call the electronic poll books, which basically identifies you, and you proceed to vote. I just want to assure you, the voting process, you still have the manual, the paper ballot. And this is done in secrecy, and there is no linkage in terms of your thumbprint appearing on the ballot paper. And the issue of secrecy of the ballot is completely assured. And we will not be doing electronic voter registration in the 2012 election. Perhaps towards progressively in the future in 2017. So in terms of biometrics, just for purposes of registration and for capturing your data as a voter. I think the other question was asked is more logistics in terms of considering the size of the US. And basically, like was said earlier, we are here to listen. We can only share examples in terms of other nations. There are different types of how they're able to roll out that. You either decide to do it in embassies, or in some countries which don't have permanent embassies, they have institutions like IOM, and what they do, they outsource and help them actually to capture information in different parts of the different states. In other countries, they actually bring on board their electoral commissions and personnel who go around the country collecting data and actually voting, assisting people in voting. So those are the processes that we would be considering in as far as registration of the diaspora is concerned. The issue of size of a country is more logistics in terms of how then the election management body will make that decision based on the financial constraint and other logistic factors that have to be taken into account. So those are factors that we will consider as the Commission, the state, and where people are placed across the entire globe.
We can, second round of questions now.
No, there's something about security of chair.
Was to repeal. Because if you have to sack each commissioner, you have to appoint a tribunal. You know, like the judges. And you know how long it took for the judges doing the radical surgery. How long it took the judges to for the hearing. So for you to sack each of the commissioners, the president has to appoint 27 tribunals for Kibitu and all the other commissioners. So what they did is they went for a shortcut. They repealed the section 41 of the Constitution of Kenya, which created ECK. That basically saying ECK is hereby disbanded. So that by just that amendment to the Constitution, they sacked all the commissioners. But to be truthful again, they had gone to court. Actually, the ECK commissioners, Kibitu and his team, had gone to court when Parliament was debating that amendment, that repealing of that clause, and they got a court order restraining Parliament from debating that provision. And Kenneth Marende ruled that the judiciary is another arm of government, and it cannot restrain the legislature from conducting its legitimate business. And therefore, they ignored the court order and went ahead to repeal the Section 41 of the Constitution. And that's how they were sacked. But for us now, for you to sack the commissioners, not just IEBC, but all constitutional office holders under the commission, the Ombudsman, the Human Rights Commission, Teacher Service Commission, JSC, all of them. For Parliament to sack any of them, or to amend a section of the Constitution dealing with them, they must go for a referendum. There must be a referendum. Parliament first has to vote, and agreed, okay, we're going to amend this and sack this people. Thereafter, they have to put the question back to the people for a referendum, for them to vote on. So the threshold is very high for them to start. So in terms of security of tenure, it's there. But you know, you can be given security of tenure, but you can still be corrupt, you can still be manipulated. It depends on the integrity of the individual. No amount of security of tenure is going to guarantee integrity. As Dr. James Marshall says, integrity is an inside job. It's for the person to do it, a good job. The fact that we have security of tenure itself isn't a guarantee of integrity of elections. But I think I can assure you, the team which has been selected through a very competitive process. There was a very thorough vetting of the members. We went through what I call confirmation of charges hearing. Almost like the hearing process. And therefore, I think the commissioners are up to the task, and I believe they will do a good job. The other question that was asked was the issue of the security of the voting. I think you have to understand that what Evakula said is that under the new law now, you don't even have to produce a voter's card. I was just trying to show Ambassador. When I went for my voter's card, I was registered using the biometrics. I went, they took my photograph, and my thumbprint was taken on the computer, and this was given to me as a printout. But when I went to go and vote, there was a fingerprint reader. So I put my fingerprint on the fingerprint reader, and my names came out, and I was given a ballot paper. I didn't need this, actually. This was just a receipt or a token, because once you have been captured biometrically, you just go back with your fingers and your face. So what happens now is that because they have retained, you no longer need a voter's card, we have to go for full biometric, and once we are going to, what we do, that in every polling station, there will be now that kit, which you are going to have to now put your finger on, so that you can be given a ballot paper to vote. And what it does, is as you put your fingerprint, and it identifies you, it also cancels your name on the register as a person who has voted. That means, therefore, the issue of ballot stuffing is going to stop. One, because you cannot have people either dead or otherwise coming to vote, because you need fingers. Number two, people who are dead cannot be whose voter's card, ID card, cannot be used now to come and vote, because we know people used to use others' ID card to come and vote for them. So basically, what this is going to increase the integrity of the electoral process, and I think the issue of ballot stuffing will be dead. One other point is the issue of the voting in one day. Voting in one day is something which is in the Constitution. Unfortunately, we begged the committee of experts to try and stagger the election. At least like Nigeria or other countries in South Africa, what they do is they hold the national elections, and for local municipal elections, they hold them later. Even Ghana, even Tanzania, even Uganda. Other countries, they hold first presidential and parliamentary, and then they hold others later. In Nigeria, they hold first parliamentary, both Senate and the House of Rep, and then they hold the presidential. And then finally they hold the governor and the county assemblies. But the committee of experts say, no, if we do that, number one, it's going to affect the results of each other, which is true, by the way. Because if you hold presidential election first, and Ambassador Elkanah Odembo wins, is the winner of the election, and you're going to hold parliamentary elections next week or next month, of course his party will become the party of choice, because he's the winner. So the MPs or people want to associate with the winning party. And even if you reverse the role, and you start with parliament, which if party A got the majority of seats in parliament, that's going to be a trend. It will show, okay, this is the party of choice, and therefore their candidate, it will be the president. That is what we saw in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, they began with the parliamentary elections.
Wimbo ninaimba sio wimbo ni maombi, nikiomba Mwenyezi Mungu aibariki Kenya yangu, kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana Roho Mtakatifu, amina. Kwa jina la Baba na la Mwana